Hello everybody and welcome to this next level webinar. Of course, our Reliv mission is to nourish the world in body, mind and spirit, and with that in mind we go out there to spread the word and share the stories of Reliv. And today the webinar is about sharing your story with Reliv by goal setting and making sure that you are heading in the right direction and using one of our new sales tools, which is, as far as I'm concerned, the best sales tool that we have in Reliv Asia Pacific. And so today's webinar is goal setting with the Reliv mobile app. Hi, I'm Birch. I'm the Reliv Asia Pacific sales manager. So let's get straight to it. Now you can come along with me if you like as we do this and actually use your smartphone. Of course, you need a smartphone to use the app. If you're listening to this webinar as a new person and you haven't yet downloaded the app, well then please go to the App Store on iPhone or the Play Store if you have an Android and download that app as soon as you can. For those of you who have it already, as I said, you can come along with me as we do this webinar. The screenshots that you're seeing here are from an iPhone, but it's basically the same thing regardless of whether you have an iPhone or an Android. So the other thing I want to mention is, of course, that we have recently done a webinar and a podcast which is still available through the mobile app and our Reliv Asia Pacific training page, our website, on our 30, 60 and 90-day plan of action. And if you haven't yet done this, then you seriously need to consider what your attitude is to your business, because if you want to make money, if you want to create financial independence, then you have to do what is required to create a business and have a business mentality, and you must have a 30, 60 and 90-day plan. Now that you've got that 30, 60, 90-day plan, of course, what you need to do is break it down and know what you need to do each day and each week. And this is where the mobile app can help you with one of the great little features of this app. If you have a look at the tab in the app that says activity and you tap that tab, what will happen is it'll take you to the page that you see on the right, and it will allow us to set our goals for the week. So let's have a closer look at that page. What we've done is we've broken it down into the 6 key factors or basic things that you need to do on a daily and weekly basis to build your business, to be successful, and to create that financial independence that you're looking for. So the first one we've got up there is contacts. Then we have the number of presentations you want to do that week. It's the number of people you're going to follow up. And then, of course, your goal is the number of new customers you're going to sign up, preferred customers, of course, and distributors, new distributors that you'll sign up. And then, last but not least, is the number of training things that you're going to do for yourself through the week. This webinar would be counted as one of those. It might be listening to podcasts. It might be watching other webinars. It might be going to a training in your city. Whatever it is, it's important to know and to keep training yourself. And it may be listening to other motivational, inspirational talks about success. But what is important is that you do multiple times, you do this in the week. Okay, let's see how this works. Well, first up, it's important to set your goals weekly. Now, when you're setting your goals weekly, the easiest way around that is to know what you want to do each day and then create that goal. So in the mobile app, under activity, we're going to set a set of weekly goals. Now, for instance, and the way to do it is very simple. You'll notice that there's a row of zeros down there, but on the right-hand side of the screen is a plus and a minus sign. Now, if you're going to set your goals, what you're going to be doing is you're going to be tapping that plus sign to increase the number that's the zeros there so that you can actually set what goal you have for the week. So let's do some now. First up, we've decided that we're going to talk to one new person every day. So in the week, and I'm classifying the week here as Monday to Friday or a 5-day week to allow you family time and other things. Okay, so what we're saying is that 5 contacts a week. So you tap that plus sign 5 times. You've decided that this week you're going to do 2 presentations from all the people that you've been speaking to, all the leads and all the follow-ups that you've been doing in the past, that for this coming week you're going to, and of course remember, when you're setting your goals for the week, you're setting it at the beginning of the week for what you're going to achieve. So in this case you said, I'm going to do 2 presentations, and so you tap the plus sign twice. And you do that, so forth and so on, until you complete each segment and you've got your goals that are set there for the week. So 5 contacts, 2 presentations, 3 follow-ups, 2 customer sign-ups, a new distributor sign-up, and you're going to make sure that you do undergo 2 trainings in the week. Alrighty, so what's the next thing that you do? Well, what you do is you email these set goals to your sponsor, the person that you are holding yourself accountable to, because what this comes down to is accountability. Many, many times people fail to succeed because they did not hold themselves accountable. And it's so easy to wake up in the morning, if you're not accountable to anyone, to go, oh, you know what, I don't think I'll bother today. When you're accountable to someone outside of yourself, it gives you that extra motivation, that extra drive to actually get it done, because you've got to look at someone or talk to someone and say, no, I didn't do it. Why didn't you do it? I was too lazy. Oh, it was a lovely morning and I decided to stay in bed rather than get up and drive my business to create success and financial independence. It's all about being bluntly honest with yourself. And when you're accountable to someone else, you need to be honest. And that is the way you build your business faster and more successfully than if you just hold accountability to yourself. Okay, so what you do is you've done this, you're going to email it through to your sponsor. Now, if your sponsor's not active in the business, then you contact, and you don't know anyone upline who can help you, then you contact your local office, regardless of what Asia Pacific country you're in, and we will find someone for you in your upline that you can work with. If you really want to build a business, there will be someone who wants to work with you. You need to want to build your business. Do you want financial independence? Why are you in the business? Make sure you know these things. Set your goals. Make yourself accountable to that person, and then you simply email the results. And when you tap on the email results tab, this page will come up in your smartphone inside the app. And what it does, it'll use your default email account, whichever one that is, it's set up on your phone. So if you do not have email set up on your smartphone, set it up. If you don't know how to set it up, ask someone you know, or ring your local office and they will help you to go through setting up email on your smartphone. And it's a great way to go because it really makes you efficient when building your business. All you need to do is fill in the email address of the person you're accountable to, be it your sponsor or whatever upline that is. Now, if you have your sponsor's not active, if you can't find anyone in your upline who wants to work with you, then put my email address in there and email it to me. And be accountable to me. Okay, scary thought? Whoa, let's see. So in this case, I've typed in my email address. Now my email address, because I'm sending it to myself as a sample here for you to see. And when I type in my email address, because I'm in as a contact in my smartphone, it comes up as Bernie Birch. But underneath that, where it says from, you can see what my email address is. Now here's an important thing. Send yourself a copy. Send yourself a copy. Okay? You can always go and find it in your sent items, but it's just easier if you send yourself a copy of what you're sending to your upline. Okay? To your sponsor, to the person you're holding yourself accountable to. So always remember, in the CC field, you can see it there next to where it says from on the left, type in your email address. Okay? Very important. And then you simply click send and away it goes. And you now have sent your goals that you've set for the upcoming week to the person who you are holding yourself accountable to, and now it's time for action. Get out there and do it. So what happens? You've gone through the week. You've been out there really active because you really wanted to achieve those goals. So what do? You need to go back into the app, into activity, and now what you're going to do is you're going to put in what you actually did in the week. So let's have a look at this. In this sample that we're using today, you said that you were going to have 5 contacts in the week, but alas, you only saw 2. And so consequently, you tap the minus sign, because when you exit out of the app, unless you refresh it, your goals will stay in there. So I suggest that you leave it like that so that you can constantly look at it and remind yourself. So your goals will stay in this screen until you change it. So you come in here and you tap that minus sign, and while you're tapping that minus sign, you're reminding yourself that you did not achieve your goal. And you've got to think about what it was that stopped you from achieving that goal on contacts. With presentations, you've actually, in this case, I've got the circle on the wrong one because you did achieve your presentations goal. It was the follow-ups that you didn't actually achieve. So what you would do is you would tap minus on the follow-ups, and as you're tapping minus, you're reminding yourself that you didn't do what you promised yourself you'd do and your upline when you set your goals. Now, customer sign-ups, you've actually done more. So you're actually tapping the plus sign. So yeehaw, give yourself a pat on the back. Distributor sign-ups, you actually achieved your goals. So you're not having to tap the minus or whatever. Yay, again, I've achieved my goal, pat on the back, good on me. And then the training, though, you only did 1 training session for the week, and that may have been the webinar. Whatever it was, that's great that you did the 1, but you promised yourself you'd do 2, so you're tapping that minus again, and you're telling yourself, I didn't achieve my goal. Why did I not achieve it? I need to make sure that I'm achieving the goals that I set myself on a weekly basis. So this is how we review what we did for the week. So what's the next step? Well, of course, you email the results. So you tap email results, and what's going to come up is that same page again, but this time the stats are different because you've changed it. You still have to type in the address of your upline who you're being accountable to, or myself, and again, remember to send yourself a copy. Now, once you've done that, what happens next? What you do then is you talk with the person who you're holding yourself accountable to. You talk to your upline, to your sponsor, and you compare what it is that you did. So what your goals were and what you achieved. And you go, I had set a goal to see 5 contacts, but I only did 2. Why did I do that? Why did I not see 5 people? You're analyzing your activity. You're analyzing what you did during the week so that you can address whatever the situation is and remedy it. So you can fix it up to make sure that next week you do achieve the goals that you've set. And that's simply what you do. And you go through each line and you look at what you achieved, what you didn't achieve, and you analyze why you didn't achieve it. You analyze why you actually overachieved it, or you analyze why you did achieve your goal. And you need to look at each one individually and be brutally honest with yourself and your upline. And I cannot be more specific about that. You need to be brutally honest if you want to be successful. Don't pretend, don't hide, don't make excuses. Be honest. Look at it, because there are different things that come out of this. Yes, sometimes life can get in the way. It only becomes a problem if you allow that to happen consistently. Occasionally, things happen out of your control that affect you, but that should not be happening on a consistent basis. Sometimes you just didn't put in enough effort, or sometimes maybe you set your goal too high. When you're brutally honest with yourself, when you're analyzing it with your upline, you can find out which of those is real. And on the other side of the coin, maybe you haven't set your goal high enough. For instance, customer sign-ups, you went for 2 and got 4. Maybe you should be saying, hey, I'm pretty good at that. I can actually get more than that. So I'm going to up my goal for that next week. But it's up to you and your upline to analyze that, for you to be brutally honest to do it, okay? Now, one thing I suggest here, which is very important, do set your goals on the same day every week and do your analysis and your review on the same day every week. And it may be, for instance, that you set your goals on Sunday for the following week, okay? And so on Saturday evening when you finished, your Sunday morning, you send through your review, your actuals to your upline, and then you analyze it with them. Whatever day it is, it doesn't matter because it's a 7-day period. It can be Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, whatever works for you and your upline. But it has to be the same day every week. That's really important because you want a consistent time frame, consistent period, so you can compare what's happening. And keep records, people. Keep records. If you need to write it down in a book, write it down in a book. I suggest if you can use your computer, set up a spreadsheet and write it down on the spreadsheet and keep track of what you're doing each week, and you'll see what's going on and what you need to do in the areas that you need to improve. So then the next step, obviously you've analyzed it, you reviewed it, is to set your goals for the following week. What you do here is you tap that refresh icon at the top right hand part of the screen there, and that will reset everything to 0, and then you go through the process again of setting your goals for the upcoming week. That's as simple as it is. And let me tell you, if you do this and you do this every single week without fail, and you review it every week without fail, and you sit with your upline on the phone, on the computer, via Skype, whatever way you need to do it, if you do it every single week without fail, you will start to succeed. You will get more success than you have today. If you are willing to do that and then willing to go out and do what you need to do to improve, you will improve your business. You will start to create more activity in your business. You will experience success and head towards that financial independence that you want. Be very clear on your why in the business to drive you to do this. Not everyone will do this, and I understand that, but for those of you who do, for those of you who grab this tool that we have, this is the best tool that Reliv has ever delivered to the field. The best tool ever delivered to the field. Don't hide behind the fact that it's technology. Grab your smartphone, download the app, get someone to show you, start using it. It's all about the willingness to drive and to go through whatever it is you need to go through to create success. Because this thing is simple. Once you've actually got it loaded onto your phone, it is so simple to use. Use the activity tab in the Reliv mobile app to set your goals and set yourself on the way to financial independence. And as always, get out there, sponsor, promote, advance, and ignite your business